Good evening. Oh, I'm a bit loud in my own ears. I have to turn that down. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream.
Same shit, different week.
Same shit, different week. Yeah. We all hope you had a good week of gaming. See, chat's busy. Hello, everybody. Nice to see a lot of regulars in. Hello, Tuffy Ears. I don't think we often see you. I don't know if it's Tuffy Ears or Tough Years. I've never known that. Having seen your moniker so many times on OTT.
Did Assassin's Creed ever get painted? Take a wild stab in the dark and guess.
Hey, I actually photos of painted Assassin's Creed coming up, everybody. There you see. Right. Hello. If you're joining us for the first time on YouTube, good to have you. This is our weekly hobby live stream. Over the next couple of hours, David and I are going to be going through a few things. What we normally do is first we will talk about what we're going to be working on tonight while we chat and talk about the hobby and interact with you guys. Then we'll have a quick discussion about what we did at Gaming Club on Monday, just to let you guys know that we do actually do the hobby as well.
We do frequent the public space.
We're not faking it. Not faking it for the cash. Then we'll talk some nonsense and maybe discuss some news, although it's been a bit of a dead news week, I think, for hobby.
I think some of this is to do with the fact that Maladam's just completed, hasn't it? And Origins is filling the news daily, but it's like, okay.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always news. I mean, Games Workshop are always pumping out fucking endless articles, but it's all Warhammer 10th, and we've discussed it. Previous live stream, so we don't want to keep rehashing that. But around 9 o'clock, we will get into a topic. As it's a bit of a, I guess we're metagaming our own streams here, because we're gonna pull some threads that we've already discussed on other live streams around issues of community, hobby cost, variety of gaming, and just roll that up into a discussion about, I guess, gaming clubs, gaming groups, and how being part of a collective can help,
or even friends.
Yeah,
friends
help enhance the gaming experience. And again, particularly in the context of the old solo gaming thing is becoming very vogue, and I'm not knocking it. I do play a lot of games solo because life, that's, you roll with the blows. But I think gaming groups is an undervalued thing.
Can I interrupt and have a public service announcement?
Yep.
Because if you're a sub, you'll have seen that we put some content up at the weekend about the Underworlds game.
Yes.
We got it completely wrong. I won because we didn't read the fucking rules.
Yeah. Note to self.
Thank you for whoever it was in the comments who pointed that out.
Yes.
Because
Richard something or other, I think, was his username. But yes, thank you very much for that user from pointing out our schoolboy error. And well done to David for the win, making it 1-1 for our Underworlds videos.
We're going to have to do a third decider now, aren't we?
Well, do you know, to be fair to I'm just going to say it here live for you guys. My plan is to definitely do more Underworlds videos. From my point of view, I'd like to improve upon them each time. And one of the issues I've got at the moment is I'm sure for the viewers, even with all the graphical overlays and interaction I'm putting on the videos, staring at an Underworlds board for like 50 minutes is probably not the most entertaining of video experience. So I need to sort the camera thing out. You know what it's like, and without extra camera shots for me to edit in, I don't really have much that I can do with what I've got. But more Underworlds will definitely be coming, because to be fair, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing Underworlds with David. We both turned it down. It's not on hard mode, and it's just bloody good fun. We always have close games, don't we, mate? Within a few points. So, do you want to go first with what you're up to?
Yeah, fuck it, why not? Let me just wash my brush out, because I have Gilliman flesh on it.
Let's go to David's cave.
We are speed painting.
Oh, my God. It's a good job I'm sitting down, isn't it? Oh, that's looking nice. That's looking really nice.
We're working on League of Infamy for the Spring Clean project. For those following
yes,
my
Limburger,
blog post,
we've done what about Assassin's Creed? Obviously.
For those on the OnTableTop crew, I'm on there listing, and
hello, Trevor.
We'll be probably putting an update up this weekend about it.
They're looking
and
good,
taking a few in process photos.
So this is your first.
This is my foray into first proper speed paint, like full proper speed paint.
When you're not doing work for club, because I mean you've used contrast and speed paints before when you've done club projects.
I use them as glazes and stuff mainly.
But this is very much for you. So how are you finding it so far?
I'm enjoying it, and actually I'm really liking that is fucking way more blue than it actually is IRL. I'm really liking Express Color. Really, really fucking liking
Express that's Color. Right. You borrowed a ton of the Express Colors. So
I'm again. We have contrast on the belly, but the snake green here is from Vallejo Express Color. We have.
Did you see Darren's just commented? He's getting nervous about that open paint pot in the back shot.
It's fine. It's fine. Flies everywhere.
Darren, if he spills it, you have a right to just spam him in the chat.
I told you so. So yeah, we're using a mix of contrast, a mix of thin airbrush coats over a zenithal, and
this is still speed paint through the airbrush, though.
No, that is not. That is Vallejo Model Air through an airbrush
over a zenithal.
Yep.
Okay.
And contrast, and then a couple of minis that I started painting properly, and then I'm diving into speed paint where I can.
They're looking bloody good, mate. So, how are you finding mixing the two things?
The coverage on Express Color is quite nice. This orange was a bit of a bastard and is more red IRL than the yellow that it's sort of portraying on camera. Let me see if I can just change the
Tim.
color hue.
Tim, you should get the job as our director, mate. We'll have to sort this out.
That might be better, exposure-wise. But this one is entirely Express Color. The fucking colors are insanely good.
I think my concerns over colour intensity seem to be massively misplaced.
And the other thing is, because of the work time on it being slightly longer, I know I was critiquing it last live stream, and the fact that when you paint something, it comes out completely different.
Now, this was something that didn't go the way you wanted it last week.
This is probably a good one to point out a minute.
Yeah,
let me see if I can find the other one. There he is.
You put the white down, and the two models didn't really work.
So we have a
one's much grayer. Yeah.
Between the two, even though they were put on the same thickness and everything else.
Okay.
It's not terrible, and again, white and blacks are a notoriously terrible colour for contrast.
That is fair.
But
I think all of the manufacturers would say that the white and blacks are the hardest of their speed paint products to get right, whichever manufacturer it is. I know speed paint is specifically Army Painter, but you guys know what I mean. I mean, GW's Black Templar, is lauded as probably the best black.
This secret sauce,
is
amazing. let me bring in the fucker that's got it on him. So this is Black Templar on his trousers.
Yeah.
Nice and black.
But there is still some definition there, isn't there?
Yeah. Vallejo's effort with Black Lotus.
Yeah, that's very grey.
It's bluey grey.
It's funny because the Army Painter one, the Speed Paint 1.0, this is, obviously I haven't tried any 2.0 yet, but their black is very green. It's and in terms of the Holy White, I've not used it on large areas to use it as a raw paint, so I don't really know if it would have the similar problem to your Express. But essentially, it's a grey tint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Limburger says it looks like a good colour. It does, but when you're expecting black, I mean, it's one of them sort of things. Okay, so Darren says he's got Black Legion and
the newer contrast, and it's basically jet plank paint.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that feedback. To be fair, I think it's Tale of Painters have a really good chip scheme for all of the new and old colours. You can tell the difference between Gen 1 contrast, Gen 2 contrast.
Yeah.
Because the Gen 2 contrast lack a lot of the pooling on those particular chips. They are sort of very smooth and uniform.
Yeah.
Which is good in one respect if you want speedy one-coat coverage base coats, but they're meant to be a contrast paint. They're meant to thin on the high spot points, pool in the recesses, and give you
your shading definition.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's probably something that GW worked on that's specific to their flagship miniature line, because obviously in the past, Space Marines were notoriously difficult to paint with contrast because of the flatness.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think it's the Magmadroth Flame. It is like a Vallejo, this kind of Vallejo bright orange intensity.
And it doesn't self-shade.
Coverage, no shading, yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking... I wouldn't want that. What's the point? See, this is the other thing with these Are you done, sir? We'll come away from you if you are. This is the thing with these paint products. Consistency should not be undervalued by the manufacturers. You know, if you marketing a product range to do a particular thing, you've got to deliver.
Out of Gen 1 was way too fucking intense.
Yeah.
It obliterates everything. It's like your Hive Dweller purple with the Army Painter, isn't it?
Yeah, which is, I think, a colour that's been sort of axed for Gen 2, from what I see. They've renamed it, reformulated it, and it's a much more vibrant purple with it's violet. It's not black purple, which is what Hive Dweller is. It's just too dark.
Don't get me wrong, it's a nice colour, but...
It is, and if you thin it, a 1-to-1 with the medium, just to knock it back, it's a great colour. But you can't use it raw, in my opinion.
You got to dilute that.
Yep.
You got to go in with protection.
At the moment, I am involved in... I've got a number of projects on the go, but I just felt inspired to actually leap into some conversion, which I haven't. Are you
fucking feeling okay?
Yeah.
What has happened to the pool that I know?
Well, anyway, something I don't do very often, as you guys know. I'm pretty much I just do the hobby to get the games played, but I have a project with a friend where we are revisiting Realm of Chaos. For those of you who remember that, the Games Workshop books from the 80s, where you build a Chaos Warband and have a campaign-style game and roll random mutations. But obviously one of the things then is you've got to mutate. You've got to actually model those mutations onto your Warband leader. So I'm currently working on a conversion. I'll put it on the turntable in a bit. And I hope to be able to bring some YouTube content for this. How well it'll do, and who cares about Slaves to
The game from
Darkness
the
and
80s.
Lost and the Damned anymore? Don't know. Don't care. But yeah. Oh mate, so much nostalgia for it for me. But anyway, let me put this on camera for everybody. Let me see if this is going to work. That's a little bit low. Now, this is a completely unpainted metal model, so it is a little bit overexposed and hard to see. But basically, I have got the Chaos Dwarf Warlord from Mantic, from their Kings of War range, and the mutations I rolled were he's a Khorne Chaos Warlord, and the mutations I rolled were face of a Juggernaut and big hands. So I've bolted a Juggernaut. That's an old metal Juggernaut face from the original 40k. I think it was an actual demon bloodletter on Juggernaut from 40k. So I bought the bit on eBay, just the head, and I've chopped that up and bolted it on, and I just need to green stuff it in so that it merges with the rest of the model. The model was an absolute godsend, because the Chaos Warlord has this huge back to his helmet that comes to a peak, and it's going to mask the join beautifully with the green stuff. And it makes it easy for me because I'm crap at this sort of thing. I do so little converting and modelling. I need everything to be as easy as possible. And my friend, V, who's doing the project with me, he's building a Slanesh warband, has given me a sprue from the Demon Prince kit. So there's some massive fists on these arms that I'm going to hopefully get at least one, maybe two on the model. Depends how it goes, because obviously it can be tricky with metal models particularly. I mean, the left hand is brilliantly posed for a swap. The right hand holding the mace is probably going to be a bit of a bastard, but I'll give it a go. So that's what I have been working on this week, which means that I'm not really in the middle of painting, but I don't want to do this on live stream because it's really intense. So what I'm actually doing tonight, because I've got a game of Infinity in a week or two, and I still haven't finished all of my JSA
Infinity
stuff.
miniatures.
So I've got these two little guys that are halfway painted. Sorry about the focus, everyone. I've got these two little guys, which are, I think they're called Yao Zhao or Fast Pandas. These are Fast Pandas. Basically, they are landmines on legs. So they run out away from your model and just explode in the enemy's face. They can to give you sort of like a protection zone, so that if the enemy tries to come near you, they just get an explosion in the face. So I've just got these two guys to paint up to go with my Yojimbo figure. So we're going to be doing that because it should be quite simple to do while we're on stream. So that's that. That's what we'll be up to. So that's what we're up to. So what about you guys? I don't think I've seen anybody put tonight. Are we working on stuff? Go on, let us know in the chat.
Darren's just finished John Cleese as Robin Hood and a pig in a suit, both Time Bandits.
Yep.
Working on varnishing their bases now, so I'm not painting either this evening.
Oh, okay. But that's fine. You're working on the same project though, Darren. Oh, mate. Have you got a project for that on OTT? You must have. Darren. He must have. I'll need to look. Damn it. What about the rest of you guys? Are we up to anything in particular?
Scores on the doors, please. Scores on the doors.
So, Gaming Club Monday night. it was our first Monday of the month. We do painting competition. So I will show everybody. We've got some pictures. We had 4 entries. So let's talk about that for a bit. Yeah, working my way through them all. No project. Okay. That explains why I haven't seen it then, Darren. That's a shame. Okay. Whimsical Fantasy Miniatures project. I'll have a look for it. So yeah, it's painting competition. First Monday of every month at our local gaming club. We had 4 entries this week. The theme was shock and awe.
Shock and awe.
So this was the entry from Jack, which is some Terminators from the Horus Heresy box set. For me, the best part of these miniatures is the bases. Tough years, working on getting home after work, but been working on Vashtar and the crew from the Wrath of the Forge King set. Wrath of the Forge King? What's that? You'll have to let us know, Tough Years. What's that? Which game's it for? Or is it just a miniature set? So, yeah, these are Terminators from the Horus Heresy box set. Best thing about these is the bases. I think they're 3D printed base toppers, but they've got
Not entirely sure.
They've got like a geometric tile effect, and Jack did them with the airbrush. Oh my god, they're so well done. You know, he's just individually sprayed every tile, so you've got a beautiful fade to the edges and corners of the tiles, and it looks so neat. It's really well done. He's got black and white tiles next to terracotta with like gold bordering and metallic edging. The bases are fucking amazing, and they go so well with the colour palette of the models. I believe these are Imperial Fist Elite Bodyguard, which is why they've got black armour. From what Jack was saying. I'll tell you the other thing, you can't see it in the picture, but looking at these War Games Atlantic Germans for Crispin. Oh, nice, mate. Obviously, you're still working on your ship. Yeah, you're like bloody...
haven't moved into it yet, so that's why you're still working on it.
Oh, so it's 40k. Wrath of the Forge King.
Oh, is that the new
starter
with like Vashrok in it, however you say that fucking new demon that's come out?
Vashtar. That's where I've seen Vashtar. Yes, this is the Ark of Omens, isn't it?
Yes,
I'm sure it is. Oh, sweet, nice. I'll be honest, I haven't followed that, so I don't know any of the miniatures at all. You didn't miss anything, Tim. There's nothing to see here. It's fine.
40k, don't worry about it.
But yeah, has David spilled that paint pot? Not yet.
No, I haven't. I'm on a different pot now, boys and girls at home. I'm on Militarum Green, and again, I'm a heathen, so it's currently sat on my desk with the lid wide open.
The other thing that's killer on these minis, got sidetracked, is the decals. Holy shit. They've got little unit and company markings on the top of each shoulder pad, simple black on yellow decals. They are so clean and so well applied. It's a thing of beauty, that is. An absolute thing of beauty. Wayne also entered. I don't know if him and Jack got third equal or.
Yeah.
I don't remember the scores now. I know who first and second were, but I can't remember whether these guys were third equal or third and fourth. But this is only one of the miniatures Wayne entered. He entered a whole crew for which game? It's gone.
Stargrave.
That's right. The models, I can't remember where the models were from, but
Loot Studios, 3D
that's right.
prints.
David's got all the factoids. That's why I have him here, you see.
Not just a pretty face.
Well, not even. But yeah, so he had a huge walker with a guy on it and a whole unit of men, and they were painted really well. Wayne always just produces tons of miniatures. He's a beast at getting through the painting. So you know, it was a great looking entry. This next one was actually the winner, and it's some sort of Chaos 40k beastie.
It's a, what's it called? What's the fucking name of it?
Somebody in chat might know. I'm on the slideshow, so I can't see chat. But if you're screaming out what it is, then I apologise. I'll get back to you in a bit.
We've got Tim complaining about 3D printing. Bar humbug.
Oh, go away, Tim. So...
Who pissed in your cornflakes?
Luke is one of these. Luke is a dark horse in terms of painting at the club. You never see him talk up his painting or go into it much. But then when you actually see his things in the flesh, they're amazing. They're really good. The best Venom Crawler, thank you. The best thing about this miniature, you can just about see it on the photograph. The armoured carapace is done in, like, I believe it's basically contrast paints over a metallic undercoat.
Yeah.
And it's come out as this beautiful, almost marbled blue-black look. And it looks incredible. When you see the model from a distance, you just think, oh, that's black. Then you look at it
up close and in your hands.
Really close, and it just looks fucking beautiful. It's such a lovely effect. I don't know if it was by accident or design, but it looks bloody amazing. So this was a
Night Lord's army, isn't it?
Yeah, Night Lords, a worthy winner. I tell you what, if you could do that paint effect across an entire Night Lords army, it would be absolutely killer. That would be an amazing paint job. Probably more work than I'd want to do, unless this was easier to produce than it looks. Because it looks...
Well, again, it's contrast over a dry brush.
Yeah, but how does he get all the irregular curved mottling and the edges of everything are sharply defined in blacks? It's all darker. And then in the central areas, it's almost like somebody's put oil on water and then stirred it. It's just cool. So cool. And I came second with Painted Assassin's Creed. Painted Assassin's Creed is not a myth. It does exist. So
at your house, fucking maybe. At my house, not at all.
It's luck. Tough Years says it's luck. So basically, I did the original plan was David and I were going to do the same miniature and paint it differently because obviously we've got quite different styles. But unfortunately, life got in David's way and he didn't manage to get his entry ready. But this is the Kickstarter exclusive Ezio Auditore miniature from the Assassin's Creed board game. It's soft PVC, but it's still packed with detail, and I'm really happy with the way it painted up. I didn't put a huge amount of time into it. I did a fair bit more than I would do normally.
Say, you painted slightly harder on than you usually do.
Yep, definitely. Particularly on the cape and that. I even used speed paint as a technical glaze to smooth out the airbrush blending.
What are you doing with the real Paul?
Yeah, foot on pillar. The funny thing about the model is the foot on the pillar is actually really badly sculpted because there's a bit of mold slip, so his foot is sticking on a piece of plastic that's bulging out of the shape of the pillar. But you can't see it, thankfully. It's at the back of this shot. It was photographed very flatteringly by Ricky at club. Thank you, Ricky. Ricky picked the best angle. Well done,
A
mate.
painted Assassin's Creed. Dear God, I had to sit down for a moment. I didn't come to chat to be roasted. Just saying, if I wanted that, I'd have gone elsewhere.
Well, if you'd wanted that, you could have stayed. We could have stayed chatting together, couldn't we, mate?
Yeah.
Me giving you shit endlessly. Yeah. So there we go. That was painting competition. Now, mate, do you want to tell them about gaming?
Yeah. So, first Monday of the month, we tend to play board games. And we decided this month to play Everdale.
Yep.
So, me, Dan, and Paul played a game of Everdale, and being the hobby completionist that I am, I currently own every single expansion. So I said to Paul, fuck it, let's play an expansion. Brought them all. He picked up Spirecrest out of the back of the car to play. Overall, Everdale's a wonderful game. Awesome game. What the flying fuck is going on with Spirecrest? It is just random on top of random.
Yeah.
All of the weather makes the game harder. You go on fucking exploratory missions and you're meant to pay resources for those cards to pick the one that you want. Okay, that's wonderful. But you could end up with an absolutely stellar card costing you two of either resources or cards versus the shit you get in option one. And then the next player gets absolutely polar opposites, gets an amazing card for free, and the crap in option two.
Yeah. So,
like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I didn't. As everybody who's been here before knows, I'm a bit of a rules and systems nerd. I tend to sort of like get really into the game. I'm not really sure what the fuck the designers were thinking with that, where you deal 3 random cards out and they all have different costs, and like you know, like David said, player A gets the best card in the world for nothing, and player 2 gets the best card in the world, costs them a ton of resources and cards. It's like, what the fuck?
And to add insult to injury, not only is it costing you resources, but getting those resources is harder.
Yeah.
Because buildings are costing you 1 extra to spend, or
I mean, to be fair to the
and you're getting fewer shit.
To be fair to the weather cards, at least they affect everybody equally. They are a complete ball ache, and they put the whole game on hard mode, but they affect every player the same. And I can understand from a game design point of
My
view
camera
why.
locks up. Yes, it has.
Sorry.
Bear with.
I could understand from a game design point why they put that in there, because one of the interesting things in Everdale is like you progress through the game in seasons, and you can sort of choose almost when you progress to the next season. And
there we go, that's better.
Because when you progress to the next season, it changes the weather card. So
I'm just saying, Tim's got a fucking crystal ball.
Why?
Because Tim called technical difficulties at the half-hour mark.
Yeah. What's happened?
My camera froze.
Oh, did it?
And
okay.
Fixed it.
Sorry, I'm looking down painting. So you've had to reset your main video, have you?
Yeah, my main video is currently live. I don't know what's going on with it on your screen, because you're just getting the spinny circle.
Yeah, I'm getting spinny circles of death, which I often do when you connect and disconnect video, but I normally can't do anything about it.
Yay.
So we'll have to see if it comes back. Let me just go into OBS, Discord, and see if I can refresh it. Huh. No.
Yay. What do I want to paint now?
I tell you what, let's kill Discord and restart it. I don't know if you can hear me, mate.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
No, it's not going to work.
Hang on, let me kill my end as well.
You're seeing your Discord video fine, eh?
Yes, I am.
Huh. Discord, everybody. Funnily enough, it worked fine for a while.
How's that? Maybe
Still
better.
spinny squares of death for me. If anybody is an expert on Discord and
Paul,
knows...
'cause I can't hear you now.
Oh, your audio's gone as well. Tough years. To be fair, she doesn't know which of Dave's screens she prefers. Well, just the spinning squares is more attractive.
Hello.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired. Right. I'm going to leave your chat and reconnect. See if that fixes it. Don't go anywhere. Are you there, mate? Oh, technical issues, everybody. Good old Discord. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. That's dead. You are dead to me. I'm not even connecting with him now. Yeah, consistent. Nothing if not consistent. Yes, we have audio. I don't know if we have video. God almighty, we've got video as well. Discord was thinking about it. Right, nobody move. Don't touch anything. Talk in whispers. Yeah. So, we played Everdale. We enjoyed it, because we always enjoy Everdale. But Spirecrest, if anybody's thinking about picking up Everdale, the board game, do that. If you're thinking about picking up Spirecrest, I wouldn't bother unless you're absolutely mad. Yeah, I wouldn't bother unless you're mad for it. Certainly, I don't see the point. And I think even Dan, who was our third player, he'd never played the game at all. And he was like, yeah, I think I'd have been good with base game, which is fair comment. Okay. I don't know what the hell I can do about that. Talk for me, mate. No, it's still not working. Application. Application audio output capture. Yeah. Oh, hang on. You talking for me? Yeah, nothing's happening. Okay. Huh. Fuck's sake. You haven't muted yourself. Tell me you haven't muted yourself. Yeah, that's fine. Right, video's gone.
Now.
Yes, now the audio is back. I don't know what you've done.
Is it popping up, mate, or not?
The audio is on.
So what's it say?
It says I can hear
you even hear me, Ginge?
Yeah, and everybody else can hear you. But obviously your video's gone.
Hey-o.
So whatever you did worked. Which is intriguing. Do you know what you did?
When I dropped out?
Sorry?
Could you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. And everybody else can as well, because OBS is now picking up your audio feed.
No, none of it's working.
Well, okay. David can't hear us, everybody. Ha ha.
Oh dear.
So that's definitely his audio. I'm assuming you guys can hear him as well. So anyway,
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Somebody type "we can hear you," David, in the chat. Say.
Let me murder Hobo Discord.
Reboot. Right. So let's talk about some news, shall we? Where do we start with this? What have we been watching on YouTube this week? Well, content display. Don't want that. We want that. So, Geek Gaming Cnx put out a video this week. It's not revolutionary, but that's not really the point. It's a really good video about just building basic terrain. So it's a great video from a beginner's standpoint.
Hello?
I can hear you. Let me check and see if anybody else can hear you. Try again. David? Yeah, we're gonna have to. I can hear you, and OBS can hear you. I was just telling everybody about Geek Gaming Cnx video this week, which Well, you've just got
So
no video.
I can't hear Paul. You guys at home might be able to hear me. If you do, say something in chat.
Yeah, Darren said it. Darren's picked up on it. We can hear you, mate. Your Discord has shat the bed massively, obviously. I don't know what I can do.
Okay, people can hear me. I can't hear Paul.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Afraid not. Let me just do settings, voice and video, microphone, test. Yeah, that's working. Pass.
Dear.
Let's try rebooting Discord and see if that works. Anyway, so it's still replete with 3D printing.
There we go. I fucking got you.
Yeah, Discord is, mate. Discord's gonna have to go. I don't know what they've done. Obviously,
latest patch is fucking terrible.
Yeah, for people who use Discord, you know that it's one of these things. It receives an update every 2 to 3 days. It's one of them things that they tinker with it all the time, and I think they've basically fucking screwed it. Anyway, where were we? Geek Gaming Cnx latest video. Have you seen it, mate?
No, I haven't.
It really isn't revolutionary. It's just it's like building a basic terrain set designed for like beginners to the hobby. It's like a return to form for Luke. Just to be fair, this was the kind of stuff that Luke used to excel at back when he was first doing his channel. He shows you quick and dirty painting techniques. What's nice about it is that nothing's overindulged. Even the snow effect is literally slap on the glue, sprinkle on the snow. No
ice effects and all the other bollocks.
No faffing about, and it looks great. The stuff he's produced looks perfectly serviceable for basic everyday use, and it's great. I really enjoyed it, and yes, it's still got his usual everything in it is 3D printed, because I know he's like a massive fan of that, which is fine, except when you're not really interested, and it does make his videos a little bit disengaging. But this one I like a lot. So if you haven't watched it, mate, you should give it a
watch.
Yeah. Because I tell you what it did remind me of as I was watching it, our little Frostgrave terrain project. It's really simple advice, like use a unified colour palette for a terrain set.
Yeah, that's what we have been doing with the fucking Frostgrave project, though.
Try and paint everything at the same time so that you use similar techniques, you're all in a similar headspace with the painting. It's just such a great back to basics video. The other YouTube video that I really enjoyed that I watched this week was Peachy exploring the world of Army Painter 2.0. Now then, this was interesting, because you're on. Look, Limburger, stop it. Limburger say Discord. We're on YouTube here. Yes, but we're using Discord. So
we use Discord for audio because shits and giggles quite literally tonight.
This was interesting because while Peachy was doing his working his magic with these speed paints, he got a load of crackling.
Ooh.
Where the paint literally split into a crackle effect and revealed the primer and the paint underneath. So like, I think he did an Imperial Fist with a yellow undercoat, and he did everything yellow. Yes, the Pete the Wargamer video was good as well. But this was the one that, I was particularly into it because I'm a big fan of the Army Painter speed paint, and I wanted to know what Peachy reckoned. So, yeah, Now,
what is Peachy's takeaway from the fact that they were completing at a twat then?
well, Peachy was quite charitable. He said that it was probably operator error, and when they tried to reproduce the effect by painting some sprues, they couldn't reproduce it. But the only thing that I did think might have been a factor was because Peach is used to painting to a deadline, he's a massive user of hairdryers. So
Yeah.
whatever paint he sticks down, he blasts it under a hairdryer pretty much straight away because he needs to move on. That's the sort of, that's where he's from. Because obviously he used to do it for a living and time is money. And he pretty much said the same thing. The hairdryer might be the responsible part. Because I can't imagine there's many people... I mean, just give us a spot sample in the chat. Do any of you guys use artificial drying hairdryers or heaters to speed up the drying on your miniatures? Do you, David?
Yes.
Because I've never done it. So yeah,
I do not purposefully do it with washes.
Okay.
Or anything like that, because I've had a bad reaction with washes going a bit glossy.
Okay.
But normal paints and base coats.
And you've never had cracking or crazing?
No.
Okay.
I've never had cracking or anything like that with base coats. Obviously, as I say, I've had a bad experience with a wash, so therefore I don't do it anymore.
I was talking about this on our Sunday night group chat with the boys at the gaming club, and I said that, to be honest, I've never done it. See what Darren's put. I was going to say I don't use hair dryers because I don't have any hair, but then I looked at Peachy. Yeah, that doesn't work, Darren. So
they're just
hair dryers
a handy tool
okay.
to have.
Yeah, I mean, you could melt plastic. You must be going hell for leather. Well, I have one. I don't have the other. So what's this? We've got Darren's got a hairdryer but no hair, and Limburger's got hair but no hairdryer. Is this what's going on? I don't really know.
Welcome to the Yellow Bully Tabletop channel, boys and girls at home. We're discussing hair this week. Fuck's sake.
But basically, Peachy gives them a thumbs up. Says they're a good product. He'd definitely consider using them. He's already a massive user of contrast, and he loves that speed paint style. It's what he does.
Yeah.
So, generally, he was like all for them. But, as I say, there was a bit of pushback in the comments, sort of like, why would you recommend this product so highly when it obviously didn't work for you or broke when you tried to put it through a process? But
well, again, at the moment, all these YouTubers that are trying it, are they actually trying the final formulation, or are they trying pre-done samples?
No, this is production 2.0, I think, that was sent to them unsolicited, as far as I am aware. And like some of the people, like
yeah, but is it production, or is it early doors production?
I don't know.
No,
I mean,
this is me just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is Army Painter could be refining their schemes as they go along. That's fair. I don't know is the honest answer, mate.
Continuous improvement.
We got another couple of news items. These are more your bag, mate. So tell us about Lazy Forger and Full Spectrum Dominance.
Lazy Forger are bringing some new shit to FSD on Tuesday. I saw the announcement today on the old Instagram and Facebook.
Sorry, mate. Look at Tough Ears. Peachy is a massive user. I did my internet. Yeah, can't you see the track marks on his scalp? He injects into his eyebrows.
The best place for it.
Sorry, mate. Back to Full Spectrum Dominance and something less childish.
Lazy Forger on Tuesday, bringing new stuff to Full Spectrum Dominance. I have both armies for this. This is on my fucking list and radar of shit to get done this year. because I think it'll be a game you love. And the scale I'm planning on printing it at is 10mm to tie in with my DZC table.
Yeah, so you can repurpose your terrain.
Yeah, because fuck doing another set of tiny terrain. So that's that.
Yep.
Then the other thing, Divider Impera. We mentioned it last week.
Yeah, you'd already
really
flagged
good,
it.
And we found a TTS mod. And I played it last night with my good friend from the club, Luke, who is also massively into the idea of Divider Impera. And if he had the money, he would be backing it, was what his takeaway was from after last night's game. I was of a similar opinion until I went looking in the game, found comments, and the fact that Ludus Magnus Studios have still got 4 undelivered Kickstarters outstanding, and this has moved from the original platform this was crowdfunded on, Kickstarter, to GameFound. So I am conscious that if I was to back this, I wouldn't necessarily be getting this for 12 to 18 months. At a minimum. So therefore,
yeah, no, there's no way you'd get it in 12 months, mate. I mean, I'm going to be devil's advocate, and just to let's be charitable to Ludus Maximus or whatever the hell they're called. There are 100 reasons they could have moved from Kickstarter to GameFound. Kickstarter might have changed their fee structure. They might have made small Kickstarters a pain in the arse to do, because these people never have more than a couple of thousand backers, I don't think, for looking at their past projects. You're not talking like 50, 100,000 copies sold. Their board games tend to be fairly smallish numbers. So, let's be fair to them. They may not have moved platform to evade bad past history. There may be other reasons. But David's other point is valid. These guys are obviously notorious for delivering hella late. I mean, it's not uncommon for their products to be 2 years or so late.
Divider Impera Wave 1 is still in the process of delivering to some customers, and that was from 2020.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think...
Just no.
Yeah. And again...
It's a shame. The game is gorgeous. The mechanics are good. It's fucking amazing. Yes, for an extra €40, I'm getting a load more shit in the GameFound Kickstarter-y thing, but we're just fucking off and we're going to buy this retail if I'm going to buy this at all.
Yeah, I mean, they do have copies of stuff available on retail later, so
yeah,
it's not as if you're going to miss out.
I've just got to keep my eyes peeled.
We haven't mentioned that one, Tim. We're letting you down. David hasn't even...
I have had a gander at the BattleTech. I did say to you about it. For those that are internet focused and possibly catching this stream later,
yes,
is there a fucking TTS mod for BattleTech? And if so, can we fucking have a look at it?
Because that's a good question.
That's a good call for demos, because again, this was really nice for Divider Impera to have the Kickstarter,
the TTS
game
mod
on TTS was really good because it actually gave you an idea of how it played. And again, me and Luke, brand new players, brand new to the game, setting it up on a PC, not even in the flesh, flicking back and forwards on a digital rulebook takes twice as long as a normal rulebook. We'll gloss over that subject matter. Yeah. We managed to play a game in an hour.
Oh, right.
For a 2-player game. That's how fucking easy this game is to pick up.
It is do you know what? It is a shame if they're actually at their core quite a good design company, but they don't really have a grip on the
backing and retail,
the logistics. I think they're Italian, but I could be wrong. Good. Tough Years is going to have a quick look at BattleTech on TTS for us. Thank you, Tough Years.
Tough Years.
There is see, I thought Tim would know. I'm surprised he took so long to chime in. Tim says there is a TTS group for BattleTech.
Okay.
PM me a link or something, Tim, on Discord, because you're in my server. Just or even on the OTT one, and I'll get it to David.
Like some sort of fucking dealer.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Tim says he doesn't care for TTS, which is probably why.
No, and again, but
that's fair.
To demo a game,
it is quite handy. Anyway, we're at 9:00.
It's main topic o'clock.
Yeah, which is quite good actually. I tell you what, it's almost like we scripted this with all the technology fuck ups, which managed to eat up around 15 minutes of dead air. So
we said it was a quiet week. We made it go stretch further by having technical difficulties.
And we're also going to make it go further by reusing topics, like a couple of shills. Yeah, so we've discussed on live streams previously. We've discussed aspects of hobby gaming, not just war gaming, but board gaming and that. We did a stream on the cost, sort of how expensive our hobby can be. And
again, we've mentioned solo from Dungeon Saga. We've mentioned solo from Divide et Impera, because that's got solo modes as well.
Well, we did a whole live stream, didn't we, on the sort of growth of solo gaming in our sector. Because obviously it's been something that's ever present in the video game industry, but it is coming even to wargaming. I mean, obviously board gaming again has had solo options and solo modes in games.
BattleTech with the new Kickstarter's even getting a solo version, isn't it?
I don't know, mate.
Tim, chime in.
Solo BattleTech, is that a thing?
Tim wading in with recycling is good for the environment.
Yeah, do you know what? That's a good point, Tim. This is a green stream.
Yeah.
We're actually doing our bit for the environment.
We're minimising our carbon footprint and all that shit.
Well, I don't solo BattleTech. Nah. To be fair, I don't know as we are necessarily reducing our carbon footprint, because the bullshit that comes out of our mouths probably generates a fair amount.
Methane.
Yeah. Darren's just reeled off a few. 5 leagues, parsecs, Rangers of Shadow Deep, Space Station Zero, and no doubt the new game from Snarling Badger, which is coming later this year, I believe, will probably have a solo mode or a campaign co-op mode built in. But it was actually, I thought about this topic because of a real life experience. Now, the last couple of weeks, David and I have been talking about Kickstarters, and we mentioned this one, the Dungeon Saga Origins Kickstarter, and we also mentioned Maladum. The Dungeons of Enveron. Now, Maladum just closed, and as everybody can see, I backed this project. But essentially, the conversation that we had was the cost. David and I are close friends, and we've been gaming buddies now for years. And even when I lived hundreds of miles away in Butte, we used to play Farm Sim and Magic the Gathering on TTS and all sorts.
Action on TTS, fucking hell.
Yeah, bolt action. So we've sort of like we're both part of the same gaming club, and so we've got an extended group of friends that we see regularly and game with regularly. But obviously, our friendship is a little bit next level, as hence the stream here.
And the Saturdays crashing
Yep.
at crashing your place and playing fucking Arkham on hard mode.
And essentially, I think I floated the idea. Look, these are two expensive enough Kickstarters. Why don't I back one and you back the other? Because
at which point I immediately chimed in with, "I'm backing Dungeon Saga Origins
because it was the
I'm
cheaper
just that
one and it's
guy."
tight.
Well, no, as I said to you, you have some of the Dungeon Saga stuff.
Correct.
I have the God tier pledge that I bought secondhand from somebody that has everything, and expanding my collection with the extra expansion that they brought out.
Yeah,
you know
sure,
what I mean?
sure. Yeah.
So for me, it made more sense to buy more Dungeon Saga shit to go with all my other Dungeon Saga shit, plus League of Infamy that I'm currently painting, amongst other shit.
I mean, to be fair, mate, that decision, you see it again, this is the beauty of this sort of thing. That decision worked perfectly for me because out of the two, I would rather have Maladum because A, I already own a load of the Battle Systems Dungeon Terrain from their first Kickstarter. B, the Maladum is a whole new gaming experience. I already have Dungeon Saga version 1 and loads of it. Not the full suite like David, but plenty.
Darren's wandered in with, that's why we wait until after 9 PM to discuss the main topic because it's after the watershed.
Yeah, that's not by design. Trust me, that's just an accident.
Darren, you mean you share your toys? Gasp. Well, at least we washed them first, Darren.
Yeah. So, and it got me thinking that, you know, all the things we've talked about.
Again, Arkham is another prime example here.
Yeah. Yep.
You have your LCG because that's what you wanted.
Well,
and I've played a couple of games of LCG and it is quite good. But as you've said when we've been playing Arkham Horror the board game 3rd edition, it's actually quite nice, and it's nice to see how it's gone in a different direction to the LCG, but it still maintains its same roots, but you wouldn't get into the board game. You'd get into one of the other board games like Eldridge or, for example, Mansions of Madness, like you have done.
Again, that was by design. If you hadn't have bought into the Arkham board game, I may well have put it on a list. But it's like you've just said. I've dumped hundreds of pounds into the living card game, and I have everything currently for it.
And again, I have everything for the Arkham Horror 3rd edition.
You know, you bring that round on the Saturday nights we get together once a month to play. I get to enjoy all of that. And if you want to sample the living card game, I've got it. Do you know what I mean? We can explore that as a, you know, together. And it's gaming. We're quite fortunate in that we're part of a gaming club. So it's not as even as if it's just David and myself. When I was in
Ricky dabbling with Firefight and introducing people.
Yeah.
Again, what we've said time and time again. Way back when in Games Expo, Paul was still at Butte and I bought into Wild West Exodus.
Yeah.
I specifically bought 2 factions because I was going to be the hobby champion at my club and introduce other people to the game, like I did with Drop Zone Commander, and get other people hooked on that sweet, sweet Wayland Games drug. Isn't it?
Yeah. I was just reading Tim's comment. Side note, Battletech campaigning on Kickstarter talked about solo play version of the game of Battletech Alpha Strike called Battletech Aces, which is the version with the rulers and not the hex map, and that's currently in beta. So that's where solo is in Battletech, apparently. Yeah, I mean, we've at club on Monday, Wayne brought in like a dungeon style tile laying card game thing, which everybody got to try. And Luke, do you remember when Luke ran us through his
Nemesis?
Yeah, Nemesis, and before that he did the Games Workshop one, the Black Ark thing. What the fuck?
Blackstone Fortress.
Blackstone Fortress. Thank you. So it's, you know. Does our club have a funny handshake? No, it's not that type. Not that type of club.
They probably
Tuffy
have
is.
sword fights too.
Live action role play. That would be cool. We'll have to pencil that in on the calendar. But you know, it's just fantastic to have. And somebody in the OnTableTop, I think it was Tuffy Ears put a meme up in the OnTabletop Discord server earlier today, and it was some words to the effect of finding people with the same mental illness as you, priceless. And that's another dimension of the social part of the hobby. Is our club meets every Monday night and we have 4 hours of gaming and messing about. After that, about half of the people at the club decamp to the local McDonald's, and we spend another hour just chatting around what's happened in the evening, hobby in general, and it's a whole social thing.
Sunday Night Salt.
Yeah.
Our club Discord regularly meets on a Sunday evening,
just in an open chat,
about 7 o'clock till midnight, chatting shit about what's happened this week, what we're up to, what we're working on, sharing live pictures, asking for advice on painting methods or color pick choices. It's actually just a really nice, really friendly place to be. The fact that, again, Trevor, who is currently in chat, is a prime example of this. He doesn't get a lot of time to hobby, bless him. So when does he hobby? He hobbies at club.
Yeah.
And he asks questions and advice from the more experienced painters of how's this looking, what should I do next, kind of thing. That kind of stuff. Again, introducing games to one another. Trevor wants to go out and buy Armada now. I can't say I blame him, because it's a fucking amazing game.
Yeah.
And it's not just him we've got hooked. We've got Luke hooked as well. We've got Ricky hooked possibly after a demo game. Like, just from running the demo stuff on the table and me and Paul owning a fleet each, it suddenly opens up people being open to things outside of the GW four walls as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we're in a fortunate situation in that our club actually owns 2-player start sets and model assets that we can loan to people. But even if it didn't, we those of us, like David said, who are gaming advocates, we can, if you've got 2 armies, you can just bring somebody in to try and experience. I mean, David and I are going to be doing some sort of large-scale, some sort of rank and flank fantasy game on Monday, probably Kings of War. But I've got plenty of models without David buying anything.
To see if it's for me, before I then commit to 3D printing an entire army. Again, that's another thing. 3D printing, people just asking for advice. Just a friendly, inviting place rather than other social circles on the internet where it's, why are you asking that question? For whatever reason it happens to be.
I mean, the internet is fine, but
no, but that's what I'm saying. You can't beat a bit of face-to-face.
No. And, you know, it is certainly true that other people might not be so lucky, and they might live really remotely or in, you know, fucking have other problems.
You were
social anxiety or
Well, again,
Agoraphobia.
you were living vicariously when the Whole Beach Club reopened, and you were still in Butte and able to meet up.
I mean, to be fair, that is a good advert for the digital. I don't know what.
Oh, I know what you spelt out.
Oh my god, Tim, you're just out of control, mate. Yeah, but the digital gaming. I mean, during lockdown, digital saved all our sanity, I imagine.
Yes.
It was because obviously, even on Butte, even though we sort of like exited lockdown earlier than some because we were such a closed community and rates of COVID were low, you know, there were times when I couldn't have Patrick round to play board games or card games or whatever games. So at that point, digital was the only way, and we did D&D over Discord, didn't we? Or OTT, actually. No, not OTT. What?
Roll20.
Roll20.
You
Thank you.
fucking heathen.
I'm old. Leave me
Mixing your
alone.
metaphors and websites. Fucking hell.
They're all just bloody acronyms to me. These people and their TLAs.
TTS with bolt action,
Yep.
commander. I mean, again, TTS was a godsend in lockdown because you could boot it up and play whatever you wanted. We played some Nemesis with Luke.
Yeah.
We played some commander games, and again, we just had the proviso of any deck you bring into the table, it wants to be a deck that you could buy or own yourself. So no fucking $3,000 Juggernaut decks. Just bring something at about the $100 mark and be done with it. Do you know what I mean?
But having said that, people could do that if they wanted, because ultimately everybody's got access to all cards. So
no, yeah. I'm just saying, from our point of view, that was the only sort of rule that we put in place, just so that, again, like 2 of the decks that I built and played, I want to collect in actual paper.
I'll be honest, I have a huge library of decks that I tried in there that I'd like to buy in paper when I can find the spare cash to do it, because they were such bloody good fun. And as I say, that's the other advantage, I think, to sticking to the budget, is that if we'd have been playing with stupidly expensive decks, that wouldn't have been a thing, would it?
No.
Because it'd be like, oh, well, I'll never own this. What's the point?
Whereas a 60 quid Wizards deck or a 60 quid Dinosaurs deck, oh yeah, boy.
Yeah, that's it. That's easy to do.
Even though everybody hated my Dinosaur deck.
Yeah, it was a piece of shit. That's official.
Gishath's amazing. Just saying.
So, what about you guys? Are you all members of clubs or gaming groups? Because to be fair, it doesn't have to be something as formal as a club. I mean, David mentioned it at the top of the show. Even whenever you see board gamers on the internet, on YouTube, whatever, they always refer to their gaming group, and it might only be 4 or 5 of the small group of 4 or 5 of the same people.
I want to wade in here.
Yep.
Doesn't even need to be 4 or 5. You've said it before.
Yeah, that is very true.
In stream. So long as you've got one other mate that's willing to dip their fucking toe and experiment and share and care and do everything else, like me and you and Patrick on Butte, etc.
Yep.
You don't need anybody else. Is
no,
the honest
that is true.
Answer. You can just go at it, ham.
Find your metaphorical gaming soulmate. And if that's the only person you've got, that is often enough. So, Limburger, you've piqued our interest. The only club is OnTabletop. Obviously, OnTabletop's a fantastic place. It's a great online community, but it is online. So, do you actually play face-to-face gaming? Yeah. See, Darren's come to the same conclusion probably earlier than us. Because I tell you what, on reflection, I do have regrets about buying Everdale and the expansions and all that. Because when I think about it, what was the point? I may as well have sunk that money into something else.
Counterpoint.
Yeah,
You bought Everdale and all the expansions when you were in Butte with no intention of returning home.
that's fair. That is very fair. Yeah.
You bought it because you enjoyed the game and you wanted to play it. You weren't to know that life was to take you in a different way and bring you back.
Look at Tough Years.
Yeah, I see Tuff's comment.
I hope that wasn't seal clubbing.
Oh, speaking of which, Cheese Me, cons, you've just fucking made a very valid point. So, obviously, as me and Paul were saying, through lockdown and everything, we were doing digital. The only time that we got to meet up face-to-face was at UK
Games Expo.
And we made a weekend of it.
Yep.
So, it's one of those things of, even if you have online friends or online buddies that you hang out with, chat with, talk shit like we do on a Thursday evening, if you can meet up with them in real life, is really nice. And I've actually got quite a good experience that I want to say about this. So this was back in like 2017, 2018. I put a post up in a group that I was looking for a game. There was a lad down Northampton way that was DMing. This was on Facebook, and he put a post up, and we had an 18-month online Roll20 campaign. It was really, really fun. All the group gelled with one another. Comic-Con 2020, I just basically said, I'm going down to London for Comic-Con. Is anybody else coming? And the entire group of us met up for the first time ever in person.
That's cool.
We had a fucking whale of a time walking around con and stuff. Then we all went to the pub on the dockside by the Excel Centre in the gorgeous summer sun and role played. It was fucking amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
That sounds cool.
Even though you have digital friends, they're as good as real life friends.
And again, time and distance don't necessarily pose an obstacle. We had a chap who used to come to the Whole Beach Club for a little bit. I don't remember the chap's name, but he was from down south. Long story short, he was he'd been had friends that he'd been playing Dungeons and Dragons with for 15 years, 20 years, and if their lives had sort of changed and they'd scattered across the country, they still made the time to travel hundreds of miles to meet up and play, which is just awesome when you find those people.
Darren's made a good point there about being a hobby advocate. Cheese Me.
Yeah, and David Wilson did the same for me, Darren, at a recent club. David's got the 2-player starter set. I don't own any Moonstone. I've been wanting to try him for ages, and we were just able to throw it down. This is...
Well, again,
all because of the community.
When DZC Gen 1 was going the way of the dodo, and we didn't know that Gen 2 was getting nice new starter sets that were double the size for basically the same price, everybody on eBay basically had fire sales getting rid of starter sets. So I went through and went, right, I play DZC. I want to introduce people to it. I also like the fact that it's a small game. I don't have to really do a lot. I'm going to go out and buy every single faction. So I did. And I own every single faction for DZC. 2 of them I fleshed out more into full-size armies for 1,000 point or 1,500 point games. And then the others I've just got starter sets. Because basically, there's 5 factions. There is nothing to do and say. And it's basically just bring all 5 factions in a Chinese container to club and go to whoever you're teaching the game to. Right. Premise of XYZ army. What do you fancy playing? This is your intro game. And they feel involved in the decision. You're not just throwing 2 factions that are already predetermined against one another as like a mirror match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
versus
I know what you
my
mean.
Pano and Yu Jing Code 1 starter for Infinity.
Yeah, because that's all you've got. You're able to... I mean, that's going the extra mile, isn't it, in terms of gaming advocacy? You're actually saying not only am I going to be the man who has 2 forces, but I'm the man who's got like 5 forces. Pick every faction and fill your boots.
Well, again, we've already said it with bolt action because we're convincing our friend Ricky to get into bolt action. Ricky wants to do fucking North African SAS, doesn't he? So...
Well, I think it would just be awesome for him to do long range desert group. He'd love it. I'm sure he'd love it.
Consequently, you're looking at getting a similar army to mirror that, and then I'm looking at getting a Western European Axis force to go against my paras, so that I have actually 2 factions.
Yeah, I think that's a bolt action thing, though. To be fair, where you've got, because it's historical and you've got specific theatres. I mean, unless you want to do the suspension of disbelief and have sort of Eastern Front Russians fighting Western Front Americans, it's do you know what I mean? It's something that is part of bolt action because it's historical.
Oh yes, cheese me. I know it is definitely not doable in 40k or AOS. I mean, Carnivale, again, another game that you could easily pick up all the factions. Wild West Exodus, Dystopian Wars, Mythos, which again is something we need to get to the table this year, Paul.
Definitely. Do you know what though?
Evening, Dan.
Evening, Dan. Limburger, cheese me. I don't know if you watched our stream. I don't know if you were here for our stream for 10th edition, but this is why I think Games Workshop's Combat Patrol thing is such a massive win. Because if you are a 40k gaming advocate,
most people have 1 or 2 armies,
and they deliver on what they say they're going to do, which is that you can buy these boxes and they are effectively a balanced taster game. How Chris? Long time no hear, mate.
Oh, fucking hell, Chris. How we doing?
If they get this right with this Combat Patrol thing, as a if you're an advocate for 40k, you know you can buy each of those boxes, build yourself up exactly like David just said with DZC. Yeah, and okay, if they deliver, yeah, you do make a fair point. Yeah, see Darren's saying there, he managed to do a Rangers of Shadow Deep advocacy thing.
Frostgrave is another thing. I must have 30-40 miniatures for Frostgrave. Yeah. You want a demo Frostgrave game? Fucking have at it. Here's your list. Build your warband out with me, and we'll see what I've got for you, and then I'll tweak my list accordingly.
Yeah. I mean, another thing, the thing with being part of a hobby group or a gaming club or whatever, is also all the other overhead that we face in hobby, like terrain and stuff like that. If you've got more of you to share that burden, it's such an easier burden to carry, isn't it, mate?
Yes. Again, here's another really good example.
Yeah.
Hugh, my friend, and Jack. I wouldn't have got to try Vallejo Express Colour without Jack.
No, there you go. It's even outside of gaming.
Hugh wouldn't have got to try all the Vallejo colours that I've got without me.
Yep.
Again, you know the other thing that I'm just thinking of sat here now?
Yeah, go on, do it.
Narratives. Narrative campaigns, narrative systems, leagues. I know you're not the biggest fan.
What, of narrative games?
Yeah.
The only problem with is
of leagues particularly.
Yeah.
I mean, again, John Rambo in fucking Frostgrave. I know we've mentioned that name several times around here, but there are 4 or 5 people at our club that have distinct memories of John Rambo doing John Rambo shit playing Frostgrave.
The only orc armed with an M16.
fucking sniper Deadeye and fucking knife to take out the giant worm and
yeah.
But it's that kind of stuff. Does Boys sell them, Chris? No, unfortunately not. They are a online purchase and you can't bulk buy them either, annoyingly.
What's that?
But
the Express.
Express Colour. Watch earlier in this stream and watch last week's stream for my feedback on them. They're fucking amazing. They're as good as Contrast and cheaper than Contrast. My only caveat being they're not in a Citadel pot. They're actually in a dropper bottle, so it's slightly annoying.
And they do need an agitator, which they don't come with.
Yes, but then fucking Citadels do.
That's true.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's easy enough to add an agitator to them, isn't it?
It takes 2 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. There's just...
I will also wade in here with... There is a nice thing about solo games, though. Solo Arkham, for example...
Yep.
And absolutely beating the living shit out of an Elder God on your own true solo with a player is a completely different feeling to even 2-player or 4-player Arkham Horror. 4-player Arkham Horror tends to end in nothing but disaster from my experience.
Yes.
Because the big bad tends to come at you and you tend to die very quickly.
That is
2-player is quite good. We've played a campaign set at the moment and we're still doing it.
But to be fair, as people who've played a fair bit of Arkham board game now, we've solved this in that the issue is, as you scale the players, you can't afford to, and I don't mean this to sound in a critical or negative way, but you can't carry dead weight. The board game's difficulty level is set here. If you are not on your game and contributing 110%, the game will just mash your face. And the problem with increasing your player count is if somebody's just wants a bit more of a chilled experience, you're just playing the wrong board game. There's nothing wrong with that, but Arkham is not that game, and it'll just train wreck. It will just car crash. Don't you think that's fair?
Yes. No, but this was also sort of the point that I was coming on to, is that
I don't even want to know what's going in the chat. That's nuts.
What's that?
Do you know what? I think I'm gonna enjoy watching this stream back more than I am being in it, because I can be able to actually follow what's going on in the chat. Richard the First and skinned children. It's like, what the hell? Anyway, sorry, mate. I digress.
So yeah, you have to really be on your A game if you're playing Arkham like 4-player.
Yeah.
But again, even a lot of games are doing it now because it's the kitsch thing to do, isn't
it? Let me ask you a question.
Mode.
You've just sort of said that you enjoyed solo Arkham, and another reason why I would rather back Maladum than Dungeon Saga is I think, looking at it, Maladum's got solo built into its DNA better.
Yes.
And one of the things I want from any of the big purchases that I make now, I'm excluding tabletop war games, because in my head, if I'm buying a tabletop war game, it's always going to be 1v1 at least. I never expect my tabletop war game to deliver a solo play option. If it does, fine, but I don't expect it. But I would never buy a big ticket board game, 70, 100 quid, unless there was a definite solo option and it was good and not just pasted on. That is not because I'm an antisocial advocate for solo play, but it's just because I know that if I'm going to get value for money and have an opportunity to play with my toys,
Because
if it's
our
got
schedules
solo,
are so rammed.
I will.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. That
And
makes
is
entire
it?
sense.
My question for you is, obviously you've just said, oh yes, solo's good, but is it the case for you that you would proactively do solo, or you only do it because it's the only way you're going to get the frequency of play and get the value out of what you've paid for? Let's say, for example, that your life was different. You lived in a house share with 3 other nerds obsessed with gaming, and you played board games every night of the week for 3 hours. Would you ever solo play Arkham?
Possibly.
Okay, well that answers the question. That's interesting, mate.
The reason being, I think Arkham is in a unique position in how it feels to solo it.
That's absolutely fair. That's brilliant.
Versus other games.
Yep.
And the other thing is, even if you have a bunch of nerdy ass friends that are playing fucking board games with you 3 hours a night, every night of the week.
Yeah.
A, what world are you living in?
Yeah,
B,
as I said, it was just a theoretical, hypothetical.
I am very much you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back player. So if a game isn't somebody's cup of tea, I won't play it. Prime example being Hugh with Everdale.
Right.
And Hugh's missus, Laura.
Yep.
Laura didn't really get on with it. And then after we played Everdale, we then moved on to other stuff like Gaslands and other games.
Right.
Because it was a board game evening for all of us, not for the 2 blokes.
Some of us. Okay, that's fine. So basically what you're saying is you never want to be that guy that forces somebody to play a game just because they owe you one, or you owe them one, and then you'll do a game that you don't like, etc. That's, that makes perfect sense. And it's a great attitude to have, that everybody should enjoy every game and just try and find the common ground and not worry about the stuff that you don't like.
Dan's wandered in. Everdale was lovely. Yes, it was, Dan. Spirecrest was dog shit, though. See earlier in
harsh. Yeah, no.
Come on, you had pretty much the same opinion, though.
Do you know what? I just didn't see the point. I didn't see the point of it. I didn't see the point of making the main game harder and then tacking on something that you could easily ignore and still win. It's like, do you know, one of the reasons that I won that game by like a 30-point margin was probably because I did ignore the Spirecrest stuff as we were playing, and then in the last 15 minutes I looked at it and thought, can I actually do any of this? Oh, I might be able to get some points out of it. Do you know what I mean? Because I just focused on the core game.
Yeah, and again, the cards weren't falling right with the rando gen.
That's nice to hear. Tuffy has bought Mansions of Madness to solo play, and it's become popular with my family and loan it out to them. Mansions of Madness is, now that I'm up to date with the Arkham card game, Mansions of Madness is my next thing. I've got one supplement David's already bought me and the core game, but I want to try and get as much of it as possible before it rotates out or gets discontinued, and then I have to pay insane prices online. But yeah, that's good to hear. And again, I bought it because I know that you can solo it. Which, as I say, for me, it's a must at the moment. Simply because I've reached that, and I've talked about it before on stream, I'm a bit of a value for money guy. I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds in my hobby career on stuff, and I'm getting much more ruthless with myself. If I buy a big ticket item and don't get the value out of it, I start to feel bad. My biggest regret over the last year was Kill Team. I spent a fortune on Kill Team, and while I'm glad that I own it, and I'm really looking forward to painting the warbands, of which I've only painted 2 so far. I've only ever had 2 games, and it's not offering the return. And why? Because there's no solo mode, so I can't fill in the gaps when I don't have an opportunity to game with others. And for me, that's where solo play is. And I
It's for
hope
the evenings when you've got nothing to do.
As I say, if I was to make a comment now, I do not want to denigrate the rise of solo gaming, and I do not want to poo-poo it and say that it's a bad thing, but I do hope that it doesn't give rise to a trend where people lose sight of the value of gaming as a group. You know, family even.
Again, we've not really touched on it yet. Your big projects and you leaning on your friends and having hobby sessions.
Yeah, because it's not just the gaming, is it?
No. Again, we touched on it briefly, mentioning Trevor and asking for painting advice and other bits and pieces. But me and Paul quite often have a nice hobby session. What, 4 or 5 hours?
Yep.
On a Saturday night?
Well, essentially, when we do our Saturday evening get-together, we'd sometimes hobby instead of playing games. Basically, is how it goes, isn't it?
Dan, I'm going to solo Gloomhaven. It's been sat there for 3 fucking years. Again,
I backed Gloomhaven and Frosthaven, but then again, I know they have robust solo play, so I'm not concerned. I mean, yes, I would like to play. Again, those games, it's even more important that they have solo play, because you might be asking a group of friends to commit to 120 hours of continuous play, and it's like, that's a big thing to ask of people. It's like a dungeon. I mean, again, it's like role playing. I loved D&D when I was a teenager. Played a lot of different role playing games at university. That's when I really discovered role playing. Because they had
some 5th edition.
They had a great role playing club, and I played a different system virtually every month. But I pretty much don't role play now because of the time commitment for campaigns.
What makes you say that, Tough Stuff?
What's that?
I'm obsessed with touching things, apparently. I've got itchy face. Oh, fuck, I missed a dog. Bollocks.
What do you mean you missed a dog? What are you on about?
I'm contrast painting.
And he's missed one of his miniatures. You see, he's paying too much attention to what's going on here. So yeah, to return to my point, I just hope that it doesn't lead to people devaluing the gaming as a group thing. It's because it's just, I don't know, undervalue it at your peril, peeps. Finding people to share the hobby with is just like...
Well, again, last year with UKG, and again probably this year, Ricky gave us a shopping list. We went out and bought what we needed for him, and when there was a contentious purchase, what did we do? We called him, or video called him.
Yeah.
Ricky, opinions, do you want some? Again, those Turbo Dorks last year, that was a fucking genius purchase on Ricky's part. They're such good paints.
To be fair, that was nice to be able to do that. Sort of like act as the eyes and ears of others to pick at things. I need to get some Turbo.
One of the reasons why I don't get Gloomhaven, especially since between the 4 of us, we have an awful lot of games between us from Darren.
Yeah, no, that is perfectly fair, Darren.
I didn't realise Trevor also had Gloomhaven.
Trevor has Gloomhaven. I didn't know that either. Or if I did, I'd forgotten. We should do something. We've got all these people. They've got access to the rules. They can sit and digest what the hell's going on. We should get some games together, 4-player. We'll have to see what we can sort out, people. I
had a Monday evening RPG going until just before Christmas. Life got in the way. The group split. Punny is a great roleplay, by the way.
Punny is a great roleplay.
Yeah, I showed it about 3 years ago, lol. That's why we forgot about it, Trev, because we've been to sleep.
Yeah, I was going to say we've been
asleep since then.
We've been asleep since then, Trev. Yeah, that's fucking hell. But no. I totally get why you would avoid these big commitment games, because and again, once you've got one, not getting sucked into others is even more important, because you only have so much time.
Again, I think it's something both me and you suffer with, is the fucking magpie syndrome.
Yeah, we definitely it's an Achilles heel of ours, because
eyes bigger than our belly.
Yeah,
1,000,001 projects on, 1,000,001 games to play. We could play a different game every week for a year and still not scratch the fucking surface.
Yeah. Because one of the things that I've become more aware of recently is particularly watching YouTube content. You watch people who maybe run a channel that makes them focus on a particular game, and they really explore that game to its bottomless depths. And I do just get that touch of envy about
the fact that they can play something to death.
Yeah.
And
oh, okay. I'd missed that. So Pun Dancer is Tim, and Tim's a great role player. Okay, so Tim, what's your role-playing heritage, sir? Yeah,
I'll have that.
Limburger says, finds it hard to focus on one game. Do you know what? This is one of these things, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's like, I want to explore my character, do the soul searching, because I don't know where I am. I don't know if I am somebody who's okay to just scrape a thin layer off the top of everything and just sample it and move on, or whether it's leaving a little bit of a void in my soul. And I do need to maybe...
Me and you have had this conversation before, because you definitely are a guy that likes to play a game for a month or so and get to know it inside out, and then walk away from it for 6 months, whereas I definitely can play a different game every day, every week for a year, and be fine with it.
I would like to try an extended run of something, 6-10 games, to see whether actually I walk away from that experience more fulfilled than just dipping in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think it's something that I don't know about myself, even now. Okay. The Dark Eye, never heard. Vampire, obviously massive role. So you're a bit of an eclectic one, Tim. You role play everything. Are you a player or a DM stroke GM stroke whatever badge your game puts on it? Which side of the table do you sit, or do you have a flexible chair in that regard? Darren says he's always trying to find the perfect game that does everything. That's the thing, isn't it, Darren? When you do throw all your balls in that one ring, all that one basket, it's got to be a fairly complete package.
I mean, you could always do a pull and confuse your fucking dead zone with your bolt action. I'm not letting you get away with that, dickhead.
I mean, I'm not even going to downplay it. We were playing Firefight, and I was literally getting bolt action 2nd edition rules muddled up with Firefight because I haven't. I scat from games so much, one to the other. Ooh, so more narrative. That Dark Eye sounds perfect because I prefer narrative storytelling, character-driven D&D to hack and slash treasure hunts. I don't really like them. I've a bit outgrown them, I'm afraid. Year 0. You're mostly a player, can't be bothered reading rules. To be fair, Tim, a good system doesn't need a lot of rules, just common sense, intuition, and good storytelling, and it should be able to wing your way through it. See, Darren saying 5 leagues from the borderland is pretty close to his perfect. See, that must be so satisfying, mate, to find, a really close fit. I tell you what, Dan, I'm not ruling out being in the Blood Bowl League. I've kept tabs on you in Discord. I think you're looking to start it in a few weeks, aren't you? The only thing is I don't know when I'm going to fit games in.
This is true.
We know, Tim. We've watched your live streams, mate. Tim says I wing it most times in most things.
Unless it comes to ridiculing David about Assassin's Creed.
To be fair, Chris, Blood Bowl is reasonably well represented. You see a game every other week, I would say. Here and there. We've played Dungeon Bowl recently. That was bloody good fun. Bit random. Real beer and pretzels experience. Not exactly a brain burner, but good fun. Like Dan embraced the random. That was
literally
for sure.
Standing on that teleporter multiple times.
Please see previous streams about Dan's teleporter fiasco.
I'm calling Steward's inquiry if that happens again.
That is true, Limburger. Hack and slash dungeon crawling is fairly easy to do because it's just a dice chuck and you don't need to think. Yeah, it is very low effort. Okay, Limburger. Night, mate. We're not going to be long or far behind you. We've got 8 minutes until time. Yeah, Trevor's getting very close to painted Blood Bowl. Was it 2 models to go, Trevor? Something like that? Okay, now that's going to be so cool. See, Dan, no lessons learnt. Going to do the same thing next time. Good for you, mate. Embrace the chaos. So,
well, again, though, that's part of it, isn't it? If you've got a friend or somebody in the gaming, like, again, look at how I play Frostgrave. King of random. I'm a summoner, summoning imps just to fucking interfere with my opponent and be that guy.
Yeah, just to poke him with a stick.
You should get over at some point again, Chris. It'd be nice to see you, mate.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Just drop in. Are you in the Discord? If you're not in the Discord, we'll have to get you in. Then you can schedule a game. Have something planned for when you come. So, summary, mate. What do you? Any final thoughts to summarise the topic?
I think that friends and a collective experience adds so much to what is quite a singular and solitary hobby. particularly like when you look at it on the painting side and everything else.
Yeah.
Spending that time building your miniatures, putting your miniatures together, putting paint onto them, to then bring them to the table and have a shared communal experience with people is fucking amazing.
And the other thing, I had a checklist of bullet points. Motivation was on that list, and we haven't talked about it really. But David mentioned about having hobby time together. If you're struggling with your miniature motivation or whatever, add a friend. Add some stupid music.
Or again,
a glass of beer.
Like this Spring Clean hobby challenge, I know I'm fucking banging on about it on Tabletop.
Yep.
But to be part of that community and part of the guys putting in the effort, putting in the slog to get results is nice. And that's not something to be A, taken lightly, and B, I've even tried to hook people in our local club to sign up to it, get on with it, do some stuff. Do you know what I mean? So that not only is it a digital and online thing, that we've got that representation at club and physically challenging one another. Again, look at fucking 18 months ago when I challenged you to paint those orcs with contrast.
The
over
Underworld's
the metallics,
guys. Yeah.
Setting stupid, shitty challenges like that, or ideas, sowing that seed is so good for the community and so good for the hobby as a whole.
The other nice thing about joining the online communities, because there might be an argument that says, oh, well, we don't need to, because we've got our own little micro community where we see each other in face-to-face. But by joining that bigger shared community, like on Tabletop, it gives you talking points, gives you more interaction points, doesn't it? It gives you more to share and with, these friends. That it all goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did you see Tuffy Ears ran a World War Cthulhu for Tim, Jerry and Pete?
I bet that was fucking carnage.
Tuffy, can you message me on Discord and just let me know what was it, which system was it, and how did you do it? Was it Discord or Roll20 or what? Because I tell you what, I would love to play some Cthulhu. I've never yet played Call of Cthulhu, and I would very much like to do so. And if an opportunity came up and it was like I could fit it in, I'd be dead up for that. Yeah, so Dan agrees there with you, David. He's got booked Horus Heresy in this, because this is what's motivating you to smash your iron hands, is it, Dan? You've got to get ready for that game. Okay, so World War Cthulhu is the system. Not heard of it, but I'm not surprised. I bet there's thousands. Yeah. Oh. So you'll have to let us know how you get on with that, Dan. And it was on Discord. I'll have to look at World War Cthulhu as a system, so that I'd be up to speed if you did it again. I take it it's a bit more pulpy than like the Call of Cthulhu. Right. How are we doing progress-wise, mate? I've managed to get some highlights down on my guy. Let's see if the mobile's going to play ball.
No. My mobile's playing ball.
Let's turn this off. Oh, that's not bad for a first stab. A bit overexposed and a bit foggy. So I managed to get some highlights down on my fast pandas.
Yeah.
Just simple Seraphim sepia on the head, null oil on the body, and then we're going in with bright
That
orange.
background is in super crisp focus.
But not the miniature. Shut up. Is that better? Probably not.
We've got to
So
wait for the
massively
delay, haven't I?
overexposed. Yeah, so we're going for bright orange on the head and light grey on the body. Just basically picking out all the panels, cleaning it up, adding some highlights. Really simple models. Oh, I have to have a look at that. Right. And what about you, mate?
So we've got some base coats down on some minis.
Just let me get your camera ready. Ching! You're live. Ooh,
Should we do some base coats? We've added some flesh tones.
Yep.
We have... What else have we done this evening? Started blocking in some more colours. Finally finished Matey's belly because the black underneath wasn't giving enough of a dry brush or enough of a contrast, so I've just gone in with the dry brush and then slapped some more skeleton horde on it.
Yeah, good man.
And then we have some more colours down on this fucker.
That's the other thing not to sleep on with these contrast style paints. When you first start painting them, the miniatures can look a bit odd, can't they, mate? But
yes,
as you get nearer and nearer full coverage, it's amazing how the miniature almost just sort of coalesces.
Yeah.
I suppose it's like with standard painting, when you get your base coat stage and everything looks a bit fucking made out of plasticine and artificial. Once you move on to your washes and your highlights, the whole thing just comes
ties
good
together.
And it's I want to see what happens with those miniatures with the white disaster. When you get some more colours on them.
Just go back to the cam.
Yep. Coming in. Yep. You're on. Oh, you got flesh on. Yeah. You see, don't panic.
It's not looking terrible, is it?
No. It's what I said to you. Get your other colours on. Then step back and look at it again. Because do you know what? If you're still pissing you off, just go back in and highlight them manually with, bloody white or silver grey or whatever. It's only 2 miniatures out of the whole collection.
Because again, they've got like some metal armour on the shoulders, they've got the pinny and the trousers.
And all the stuff they're holding in their hands. I think when you get the rest of the colours on,
they might just want an edge highlight on a couple of the creases.
Yeah, I think, you definitely don't panic, don't rush into it. Yeah, you do, Darren. It's one of those things that I think new painters... we should do a whole video on motivations. We've touched upon so many different ones. Yeah. One of the things that people find demotivating is when they get to... they get halfway into a miniature and they're just like, oh, it doesn't look like I expected.
Everything I do is ugly.
Well, you're only halfway in. That's the point.
Yeah.
It just keep going. Yeah,
it's not the end of the world, is it?
Well, guys, it's coming up to 10:05. Thank you so much for everybody who was in chat. It was really fantastic tonight. Like I say, I'm looking forward to going back and watching this one myself because the chat was just absolutely alive tonight. And it is so satisfying for us to do this, technical issues aside and all the messing about, to see you guys and interact with you guys. For everybody catching us later on YouTube, thank you very much for watching also. Please feel free to leave a comment down below regarding anything we've talked about tonight on the stream. And what do you think about, collective gaming? Are you somebody who lives in a concrete bunker miles from anywhere, never has another human being contact you and still has a great hobby experience? Tell us. I'm sure there are people out there for who the hermitage that is hobby solo is enough. But, you know, for the rest of us, it brings a lot to add friends to the mix. If you can only find time to do one thing, please click like on the video. If you can find time to do any of the other stuff that's listed on screen, share, comment, or subscribe, do that as well, because it's awesome if you do. And unless you've got anything else to say, mate,
No,
we are
other than
gone.
we're here next week.
Same time, same place.